Welcome to Money and Marriage, Lesson 8, Your Credit History and Debt Record. Buckle up, friends. We are about to get serious. Let me tell you a story. Hannah and Jordan got married about 3 years ago. They live near Boston, Massachusetts, where I'm from, and they are looking to buy a house soon. With over $100,000 in student loan debt and behind on some bills, they were having a hard time qualifying for a mortgage. You can imagine that debt to income ratio was not looking good. After aligning their vision, we went through the steps to financial freedom and figured out where they were. Step number 2, we crafted their long term goals and their smart money goals. Now came the topic of their debt. We had to discuss it. We had to talk about it. Over one session and some follow-up sessions that next month, we listed each student debt, the car loan, the credit card balances, and some medical debt. And they also had some medical debt in collections. All told, they had about $180,000 in debt. Being as over leveraged, that's what you call it when your debt to income ratio is skewed really, really far toward the debt side of things. Being as over leveraged as they were and behind on payments, it was no wonder they could get a mortgage. They just couldn't. The risk to the mortgage company, the bank, was too high. They thought that, okay, they'd probably default. Their two goals this year were to pay off $80,000 in debt using the debt snowball method and to improve their credit score. I am so excited to tell you that they did way better than that. We're going to give you a quick tutorial on each of these, the debt snowball and improving a credit score. First, let's talk about debt. Debt robs your future. Instead of saving money so you can feel stress-free about money and enjoy yourself, you end up taking years to pay interest to banks, and you end up feeling stressed the whole time, because you owe money to somebody and you have all these bills and they're piling up and you have to pay them off and you don't even see anything from it because you bought something way back when, or you financed your student loan, or your education, or something like that. The stress literally also shaves years off your life. Okay? Takes years off your life. Wouldn't you rather be growing your money instead of paying interest to a bank? Wouldn't you rather have the money in your monthly budget to then put in investments instead of paying off your past? You are saving for your future. The most effective way to get out of debt is to use the debt snowball method. Now, there are a bunch of other ways. And if you are in significant debt like this, then go also take my Get Out of Debt for Good course. It comes with coaching just like this, and it helps you get out of debt. The debt snowball, let's do a quick overview on the debt snowball method. It's really simple. You find all of your debts except for your mortgage, and you list them smallest to largest amount, not interest rate, amount. You pay the minimums on everything except for your smallest debt. On the smallest debt, you pay everything you possibly can every month until it's gone. Some people do it every paycheck, some people do it every month, but you pay as much as you can on that debt until it's gone. Then you move to the next smallest debt. And you keep doing that until all of your debt is gone. The debt snowball method, that's what it's called, it works more often than any other method because it works with your human psychology. So I have a degree in neuropsychology. That means it's just basically psychology with some neuroscience, some biology mixed in. So I like seeing physical things. I like to hold cash and I like to see the brain. This is a weird thing, I know. But the debt snowball method works with your human psychology. Remember in another video, we talked about how buying stuff gives you a dopamine rush. It makes you feel good. Well, when you're paying off your debts, every time you pay off one of those debts, it gives you an intense dopamine rush. It makes you feel really, really good. And so we are retraining your brain to go from being happy when you spend money to happy when you pay off debt. That's what we're doing here. We need motivation from those quick wins in the beginning. That builds on itself. We need to feel like it's working, like we're making progress. That's why the debt snowball works. This actually works with any habit building. The debt snowball works because you are making yourself feel good with every little bit of progress that you make. And the more you feel good about it, the longer you're able to do it. So there are a lot of other ways to pay off your debt, but they don't work as well because people lose motivation and they stop. Okay. If you have debt, you'll set up your debt snowball together as, with your spouse in this lesson. The very first step is to find all of your debt. The easiest way to find all of your debt, and remember, I do this all day with people. The easiest way to find all of your debt in one place is to download your credit report and to see what accounts you have open and how much is on them. You might already be organized enough to know all the details around your debt. That's great. But download your credit report anyway, so you can dot those I's and cross those T's. It'll help you open up about your credit history with your partner or your spouse. So you're going to need it for this lesson anyway. So go download your credit report. It doesn't show you your credit score. You find that somewhere else, but it's your credit report. So all of the history of your debt. Okay. Gather all of your current debt, everything both of you owe money on, everything. Your phones, if you're on a payment plan for your phone, your car, your student loans, any home equity line of credit, anything you owe on except for your regular first mortgage. Put it in order from lowest balance to highest balance, mingled together. You're a team now if you're married. So put all of the debt on one sheet. You'll be creating your debt snowball in the guided discussion in this lesson. So you'll be doing all of that. That's some of your pre-work is finding all of your debt. If you need help downloading your credit score, Google really helps, but I also have a walkthrough. Now, one thing you won't find, like we said, on your credit report is your credit score. Shocking, right? You would think your credit score would be on there. You'll need to find your credit score somewhere else. I use mint.com for tracking our financial transactions, and a lot of my clients do too. It's just so easy and it's free. And we use it to automatically put transactions in budget categories every month. Anyway, I don't work for them. That's not paid. I just really do like it, and it's free. It also reports back my credit score every like 3 or 4 months. So I can see, okay, did I, am I at 800? If I'm lower, what happened? And it'll tell me. It'll tell me how it changed and what happened and where I am now. If you don't get your credit score from a credit card company or mint.com, you can absolutely find your credit score from Experian. We're going with the FICO score here as it's just the most used in the industry. So we're going to look at your FICO credit score. You can check your Vantage score or through TransUnion if you want, but that's unnecessary for this lesson. That's just a different way to calculate your credit score. It pulls different things. We don't need it. So let's talk about your FICO credit score. The FICO score, the one you're checking with Experian, is based on 5 different metrics. Your payment history is 35%. The amounts owed is 30%. Length of your credit history is 15%. New credit is 10%. And your credit mix is another 10%. So let's go into them. Payment history, whether you've paid past credit accounts on time. It's basically wondering, how close to on time are you? Are you actually on time or are you late? Did you have delinquent accounts? How risky are you as an investment For the bank, looking at your credit score, it's saying, how risky are you? The riskier you are, the lower your credit score is, the higher the interest rate because they need to make more money on you because you have a higher chance of defaulting or not paying back your loan. Okay, see how all that works? The amounts owed, the total amount of credit and loans you're using compared to your total credit limit, also known as your utilization rate. Remember, we talked about debt to income ratio, right? This is kind of similar to that. So if you're using 10, 20% or less on your what you have available to you, so your credit limit, then you're seen as a solid investment, low risk. So your credit score will be higher. If you owe more than 10% or you let a balance carry over, your credit score will be lower. Number 3 is your length of credit history, the length of time you've had credit. The longer you've had credit, so the longer, the older your open accounts are, the lower the risk is to the bank because they see a track record. They see that you are faithful and that you've been in their system. You know how it works. So if you have a credit card that's 10 plus years old, you're going to have a higher credit score than if your credit card is brand new. New credit, how often you apply for and open new accounts. The more often you apply for and open new accounts, the lower your credit score is going to be. Then the credit mix, the variety of credit products you have, including credit cards, installment loans, finance company accounts, mortgage loans, and so on. Oh, that's a lot, right? All of these things. Notice that how much money you have in the bank and how much money you make, it doesn't matter to your credit score. None of that matters. When my husband and I got married, he had a 0 credit score. Zero. Do you know what that means? That means he had no payment history, no amounts owed, no credit history, nothing. He had absolutely nothing. He rented. He had no student loans, no credit cards, and no car loan. He had nothing. I was the one with debt and a near perfect credit score, but a much worse financial position. I don't know what my debt to income ratio was, but my debt was equal to over double what I was making in my annual salary. So which one do you think is better? Having a high credit score and debt, or having no credit score and lots of money? I'll let you decide. I know that's an either or. You can actually have lots of money and a high credit score, which is what my husband and I do now, just in case. As a side note, you can operate without a credit score. Some people go to that extreme and decide that they're going to close every single account that they have. And that's fine. That's fine. You can. It's just easier to like borrow money for a house when you have a great credit score. That's all. The guidance I provide to each coaching client or couple in this regard is different. It is different. I won't tell someone with a spending problem to keep using a credit card. I just won't, because it's not going to help them. The research doesn't support it. Credit cards are enablers, and it's counterproductive. Do you know what an enabler means? An enabler means a credit card makes it really, really easy to spend money that you don't have. So it's counterproductive to somebody who has a spending problem to use a credit card, because what you want to do is put pain in your way so that you will stop spending more money than you have. Anyway, if you'd like to learn more about how credit cards help you spend more, I've included more information in a link in this lesson. So I won't go into it here, but there's more information here if you want it. Speaking of credit cards, I often work with clients who feel an incredible amount of shame or guilt when we uncover their debt. Tons of it. If this sounds like I promise you, you're not alone. 78% of adults in the United States are living paycheck to paycheck. That means if they miss a single paycheck, they're in trouble. The average American has about $38,000 in personal debt, excluding their home mortgages. And according to debt.org, those under the age of 35 had an average debt of $67,400 per person. So if you are here and you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed out or shamed or anxious about how much debt you have, don't. Most people that I talk to, I know it's easy for me to say don't. It is. And that's probably not helpful. But almost everyone has a bunch of debt. Almost everyone. You're here because you're trying to get on a financial plan with your partner, and maybe you're trying to dump debt. That's a lot of what I do here at Saver Street. It's not something to be ashamed of. That was part of your life, and it got you to where you are now. Right now, you are building your life in a way that you hadn't seen before. So look forward, look to what you can do now, and don't be ashamed of where you came from. I came from a ton of debt. I had I think it was over $62,000, $65,000 of debt at one point in my life and paid it off. It's okay. And I feel really accomplished from that. And then my husband and I paid off a house. It's okay. You can do it if you want to. If those are your priorities, we will find a way for you to do it. Anyway, based on age, let me show you the average debt based on age. Based on the age, that's a mixture of student loans and credit cards for millennials. Mortgage debt and credit cards make up the majority of debt for Gen X. Okay. You do not have to carry shame or guilt over having debt. I hope you hear that. I've worked with individuals and couples with hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, excluding their mortgage, and they get it out of their lives forever. They do. You can do this. You can tackle this debt. The method works. The debt snowball works. I promise you. You have each other. Your marriage is a team. And when you're working toward the same goals, you can accomplish those goals. As a team, your marriage as a team, you support each other and you encourage each other. You need to emotionally support each other through getting out of debt, and remember to put your marriage first through it all. You're both going to own this together. This lesson's activities involve pulling your credit score and your credit report. You're going to be discussing your credit histories found on your credit report, your credit scores, if you think it's important to have a high credit score or not, and then you'll build your debt snowball. And don't forget, with money and marriage come some coaching sessions. Please sign up for those. Okay. Now go do your activities, do them separately, and then come together for the guided discussion. I will see you in the next lesson.